What is up, Watch fam, and welcome to Rant&h. I'm Christian, your host from Theo and Harris, and I'm going to do a little bit of a rant today. I'll talk about the auction industry, specifically Christie's, and then even more specifically the paddock auction coming up in this fall. The auction industry was kind of been shaken in the last couple of years by Phillips auction, right? By R.L. Box, by Olivia Russo, by Paul Boutros, and a really strong team of people that not only have incredible knowledge about watches, but obviously the ability to source incredible watches, but even more so than anything, the ability to seriously market in a fashion that no one else in, well, even like high-end watch sales and then auctions is doing. They did an incredible job. To give you a small example, which I talk about all the time, is their stab at the day date. I believe it was their first auction, was the day date sale. I think it was on a Saturday, and then their second auction was on Sunday, and they had incredible results for both. But to me, the most interesting part of the entire weekend was not, big sales of paddocks or big sales of this. To me, it was the day date, right? They sourced a number of Rolex day dates with all, bizarre, rare dials with diamonds and emeralds and this and that. It was incredible. You could put a couple photos of them right here, Anna. It just happened to be their first decision to choose an intrinsically gaudy watch without diamonds, pick a rare versions of that watch, which are even more so ugly, holistically, and sell them for prices that shattered their expectations, or at least, what they wrote down as expectations. And it was amazing because that functioned in a couple ways for marketing. First of all, it got a ton of press because it was a new department in an existing auction house. That's number one. Second, they were going to do a thematic sale for day dates, which is bizarre. I mean, no one's really done that before. Third, the day dates were absolutely bizarre. That we really, as far as mass market, had never seen before, right? They took great photos, they did showings in New York, they had events with Hodinkee, they did several different things, and ultimately, they garnered so much attention and Instagram presence and all these different presences all over these different, mediums online, that people literally were waiting by their phones on Instagram, on Twitter, on wherever, for people's reactions to sale prices. Why did we care all of a sudden about what auction houses are selling for? In my experience in watches, never have we really given a shit. All the coverage on watch auctions in the past, or 90% of the coverage, has always been, hey guys, this went under the radar, or hey guys, we didn't expect this necessarily. This was every single lot had a price, and everyone was watching it like a hawk. Holy shit. This sold for that, this sold for that. It broke the pre-sale estimate by 100 grand, by 200 grand. It was incredible. It was a show more than it was an auction, and that set them up for future auctions. So what they did there was incredible. And now Christie's is doing a similar thing this fall with the Patek Nautilus. And they're doing 40 lots throughout 4 different cities, I think, and 4 different dates throughout the course of 2 months. Some in Dubai, all over the world. And I think it's interesting because, Nautiluses, Nautilus are interesting, right? They're interesting watches that are widely loved. They're sports watches, they're dressy, they're by the top brand in the world. Just everyone loves them, right? I mean, literally everyone. Till today, the 5711 is a tremendously appreciated and kind of like graily watch for so many people. So following the significant models is even, more exciting than a 5711, right? So theoretically, it should be a very theatric auction, right? The 4 dates. And for some reason, Christie's is not, in my opinion, capitalizing on that. So I thought that it was going to take, Phillips. I thought it was going to take, Box and Russo and Boutros and everybody to kind of put fire under Christie's or under Antiquorum's, whatever it is, and that would start the race. I thought that, that Phillips doing it was going to make everyone else do it, and now the whole rat race starts, and all these people, well, the competition gets upped, and everything gets more interesting in the auction world. And yet, for some reason, it just hasn't. Still, Hodinkee posted one article about it in July, early July. What was it? It was July 6th. Hodinkee posted one article about it. Not that we're stupid or not that we don't have attention spans or whatever, but it's July 6th and the auction isn't happening until November. I can see how that would matter, or that little heads up mattered a lot on the announcement, or how that little heads up mattered to collectors who are looking to maybe strategically buy this year. But as far as mass market, noise, and as far as attention surrounding the auction and real all eyes on Christie's, one article in July, and not that the burden falls on Hodinkee, but one article in July is not the end of Christie's job. That's just the beginning. That's the announcement. And now you go to their Instagram account, which they have 23.7 thousand followers, which is hardly more than I do, which is embarrassing. They should be beating me by 100 grand. It's Christie's for shit's sake. And I mean, where do we see Nautiluses? I mean, we see Speedies, we see Speedies, we see Paddocks. Well, not Nautilus Paddocks. We see Langas, we see Chopard, we see Chanel, we see Paul Newman Daytonas, and yet there are no Nautiluses or Nautili. That doesn't make any sense. What they should be doing, and I don't even know if they have it, they should really be using their Instagram right now, yes, to promote sales and to promote more following and all that kinds of shit right now as the foundational function. But there should be. Let's say they're posting 15 times in a week, 6 times at least should be Nautiluses, or even 5 times. I'd be cool with 5 Nautiluses a week, rare things, stories about Nautiluses, stories about Genta, interviews with Nautilus owners, collections of Nautiluses. They right now need to be on social media, on Instagram, hyping this sale. Not a direct right hook, shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk, not the direct, hey, our auction is in November, come by. No, it should be hyping the Nautilus, and then in turn hyping their auction. If you, kind of raise the amount of which everyone gives a shit about the Nautilus, and everyone does care, but if you make it even stronger from August, or even they should have done it since July, but from August until October, November, the result, whether it's on, whether it actually turns out to be sales right now, or even just on social media and how much people care about Christie's, that will be worth something, and if not this auction, then the next, or the next. Christie's has to understand how to use their Instagram, how to use their presence and their access to all these incredible watches, get it out there, get everyone caring about it. Christie should be the authority, not only the authority, but the content creators for the Nautilus for the next 3 months. 100%. No one else should be putting out content that even rivals Christie's. But what that will spark is Hodinkee, A Blog to Watch, whomever, all the other blogs, my blog, everyone, to start talking about Nautiluses, even if a little bit more frequently. And if we're going to talk about Nautiluses, if we're going to bring up a new angle, like to ride the Nautilus wave, at the end, we're going to say something about, oh, and I wonder what the Christie's results are going to bring. I wonder what Christie's is going to do. I wonder how that's going to turn out. I guess we'll all stay in touch and we'll all be in tune to Christie's auction, blah, 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 blah. Follow their live stream. That's what would happen on social media. It's like dominoes. And because Christie's is already so famous, they're so well known, they have so much power, it's a shame they're not actually converting that to social media. It's crazy. Why don't I care about Christie's as a consumer right now when they'll probably bring 40 of the most important Nautilus lots that we've probably ever seen in just a couple months? An interview with Michael Safdie, an interview with Ben Clymer about his 3700, an interview about this person, a short video, the history of this reference, or this rarity, or that rarity. Deconstruct a Nautilus on video with an expert watchmaker. It's things like that, those little pieces of content that look at that watch a little bit more closely. I don't think that anyone, at least that I've seen, has really taken that watch on very, very intimately, which poses an incredible opportunity for Christie's to do so and capitalize on other people's incompetence almost. Because it's crazy that no one has really taken the Nautilus and owned the history, owned the deconstruction, owned the movement, owned everything about it. It's nuts. Significant Nautiluses will be kind of taken out from the dust, and we'll be talking about them and redirecting them to Christie's. And the truth is, it's probably the easiest watch in the world to market. Everyone likes the Nautilus. It's so not objectionable. And somehow Christie's is still managing to socially f up a watch that would be the easiest, fastball right down the middle, hit it out of the park, marketing campaign. And the truth is, I'm sure that they're going to bring down big numbers because they'll get big collectors and stuff like that, and that's great. They're going to find the top collectors of Patek in the world. They're going to invite them, whatever. And they're going to probably sell great watches at high prices, at prices that would be profitable for Christie's and noteworthy, and everyone will report on it for a second. But that really doesn't do anything, in my opinion, for the Christie's brand. That's the problem. It's not just about right now, it's about the next 5 years. And no, they don't have to do it, but I strongly recommend they take a closer look at their social media campaigns and efforts and reflect on what it's done for other companies and how it could work for themselves. So thank you guys for watching Rant&h. Like again, it was a very social media episode, but I genuinely think that it's important for a classic foundational brand or auction house like Christie's to be around in 5 to 10 years. I think they're not just around, but flourishing. They're an important company. I genuinely like those people, and I really am rooting for them, and I really do wish them the best with their auction, and I genuinely think that they will pull down big numbers because you're gonna get great people and great watches. They're not gonna skimp on quality. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.